By this point, I would imagine a smart and switched on person like you has seen the Louis Theroux Inside the Manosphere documentary. But what you haven't seen is me speaking about it. What you also haven't seen is me reacting to the True Geordie reaction to this documentary. By the way, if you don't know who the hell I am, Kieran Brown, dating coach. Who else is qualified to speak about this than me? That's the basic point.
You manage OnlyFans girls?
I don't personally manage them, but I bought an agency that does. Do I agree with it? No. Would I profit off it? Yeah. I'm a businessman, man. I'm not doing it for fucking fun. Not what my daughter will be involved with. I'd disown my daughter, like, as in...
Would you?
Right, if she done something like that.
Come on, that's easy to say.
Same way if my son come out gay.
What, seriously? Being gay nowadays is considered quite normal.
Not my son.
It's interesting that you would like group like being an OnlyFans girl with being gay. OnlyFans girl is a choice, right? Like, I want to put my naked body out there. I get why your dad would be like, yeah, don't really approve of that. Being gay is not really a choice, is it? You're either gay or you're not. I'm not naive enough to think that, you know, men would want their kids to be gay, because I know how men work, right? The men want a little them, especially when you're, you know, the alpha male type, which these guys are all going to be portraying themselves as. They're not going to want a gay son. But to say that you would disown your kid for being gay, fuck me. I hope that's not true. Do you know what I mean? I hope that's bravado for the cameras, because I think, truthfully, and I could be wrong, I don't know this lad, but if he did have a gay kid, I bet you he'd surprise himself. I bet you he'd surprise himself. Because when you love someone to that level, that doesn't matter. And if it does, that's sad.
Something that I've heard spoken about HS Tiki Taki, who, to be honest, I actually quite like after seeing him on Piers Morgan. That was funny. He's like, I don't like porn. I don't think girls should do that kind of stuff. I don't respect it. I don't want my daughter to do it, but I'm prepared to make money from it. And people clutch their pearls and they're like, oh my God, how could he do and say such a thing? What a hypocrite. But I don't really think it's that big of a deal. How many people who work for cigarette companies or alcohol companies don't smoke or drink themselves? So it's like there's different tiers to how bothered you are by something, you know? You might be mortally offended by something, as in it's like to a religious degree, where I will not do that thing and I want nothing to do with it. But then there's scales, and maybe you can be like unbothered by something to the degree where it's like, you know what, this thing ain't really for me, but I don't really care if other people do it. For instance, I don't look at pornography. Had a bit of a history with it. Now, do I want no one to ever do it? No. Do I want to remove it from society? No, I don't. Would I be prepared to make money from it? Probably not. Probably not. Nah, I don't think I would. But I'm not like, oh my God, never. Like, I don't care that much to have that level of vitriol around the concept of it. You know what I mean? So I don't think that is a particularly hypocritical stance. And then, yeah, about the gay thing, I mean, this is how most men think, right? I mean, maybe most men aren't going to disown this, but here's the thing, I'm black, right? I'm black, if you can't tell. And in the black community, that's rampant. Like rampant. It's kind of just known and understood in the black community that it's worse to tell your parents you're gay than to tell them that you're a murderer. You know, it is what it is, isn't it? I ain't saying it's right. I'm just acknowledging reality.
She hates, like, homophobia.
Sexism.
Sexism. She hates sexism. She hates all that shit. So if I was like, oh, like the women cleaning and that, like, I wouldn't say that around my mum to get slapped.
His mum has raised him to say that all of these things are wrong, and yet he's saying it anyway. He doesn't give a fuck. She hasn't taught him to say that. This is just who he is, and it's that nature versus nurture question of who are we? And I do believe that in some men, if you have an alpha male persona, for example, it doesn't really matter what your mother says. You're going to just overpower that with your own opinions, and you're not going to listen. And I believe that is part of the reason, and I don't know if they're going to go into this in the documentary, why the destruction of the family and the lack of dads has caused a lot of this.
Quick thing about nature nurture. Something that I disagree with Brian about here is he's saying like, oh, HS Tiki Taki have a mom who's really anti-homophobia, racism, and any other kind of ism. Therefore, the fact that he is quote unquote homophobic means it's like not about his nurture. It must be in his nature. But your nurture doesn't just come from your mother. It comes from your mother, your father, your friends, society, the TV, the internet. There's a gazillion ways to be nurtured into something beyond just your freaking mum. But I digress.
Okay.
I don't believe that every man should go out and have a bunch of women or have his wife have threesomes with his girlfriends. Now,
Is that something you do as well?
yeah, of course. I'm hiding nothing.
He's literally been in the flat with this guy 2 minutes, and he's telling him, we have threesomes, me and my missus, with other women. And then he's like, I don't promote it. Louis probably breathed oxygen in there for 60 seconds, and you've already fucking told him. So it's giving I promote it.
We all know that the societal reaction to what this man's saying is pearl clutching. Oh my God, how could he say such a thing? What? He's in a one-sided monogamous relationship with his woman? She doesn't date anybody or sleep with anybody, but he does? That's terrible. And the thing is, when he said, when a woman loves a man, she doesn't want to speak to other men, that's very true. For whatever reason, women tend to be very kind of like mono-focused when it comes to relationships and sex if they like a guy. Another thing that's very honest is that men aren't wired the same way. So men inherently, physically, biologically want to impregnate lots of different women. We do. And the reason why we don't is social upbringing and conditioning. Another thing that's also true is that as a man, the more status or the more that you bring to the table in relation to the women that you're with, the more that they will be prepared to put up with and tolerate and accept. That is a fact. Let's just keep it a buck. If Chris Brown, if Breezy, if 50 Cent, if Johnny Depp get with some woman and they say, hey, you get to be my woman, but just so you know, I'm going to date other women. Do you think the majority of women are going to say no to that? They won't. They will accept it. It just is what it is. And another thing to say as well, which people don't want to admit, but this man having threesomes with his woman and other women. Let's not act like most men wouldn't think that that's a cool thing and like, how do I get my woman to do that to you? Let's just keep it real, man. Jesus. Like, let people live how they want to live. I could cut my dick off and call myself Karen and people be like, oh my God, you're so brave. You're so brave. And then I can have like a vagina made and then I can have people in my artificial vagina start taking hormones and like, that's cool. And people can do whatever the hell they want. But if I could do that, this guy could live like this. Like, you know, who cares?
He boasts about his one-way monogamous relationship with his girlfriend.
I do what the fuck I want to do. She's loyal to me. It's monogamous on her end, open on my end.
I think she left. Yeah. Good for her.
I'm the dictator. You are the subordinate. And I dictate when I want to put dick in you, bitch. And then you dictate when the sandwiches come by my dictation. That's how this goes.
Oh, God, honestly, man, come on. It really amazes me that young lads buy this, you know? Because even in my dumbest, most hormone-fucked brain of my life, like when I was like 13 years old, I would have looked at that and gone, that guy's full of shit.
I know what's best for them.
You think you know better than they do?
I've never been a fan of Fresh and Fit. I'm the dictator. I say what goes. You get down on your knees for me, bitch. And it's like, oh, all right, man, all right. Like, something that's gonna be elaborated on a little bit further in this video is like, yeah, do women want a strong man that can lead? Yes. But this idea that it's got to be like the king and the boss and the subordinate, it's kind of ridiculous. These guys right here, like the way Myron is talking, actually reminds me of my dad. My dad demanded that level of obedience in the household. Do not question me, I'm the man.
And that's how women want it. They want a guy that can lead them and dominate them.
There's a lot of half-truths in what these guys say. Like, for example, women want a leader. I found that to be 1000% true. Dominate them. I mean, yeah, they want a man who's decisive, a man who knows what's best and is very clear. But, like, the way they frame it is like a warped, twisted version of that. And the problem is that young lads who have no relationship experience, who haven't been around women who, a certain caliber of women, right? No offense, but like the girls you see around these guys, and they see them getting away with it, and they're brainwashed. And that is the worry. And it's not that I have a problem with the red pill thing, because I understand that red pill is a direct response to the feminism movement and how men were portrayed. And I get why it's arrived. It's an equal and opposite reaction to what has been going on and the way men have been portrayed. I get that. But there's just not enough level-headed, chill guys in this scene to really bring things down a notch and be like, all right, lads, come on. You don't have to be an absolute dickhead to women. I fully believe that a lot of these guys aren't dickheads to women. I think that it's on camera that they pretend that that's how they are, and then off.
You know what? I have had many times in the past couple of years when I have doubted whether or not I should continue being in this whole space, because people like Myron Gaines sum up for me, and like John Anthony, if you know who that guy is, like what I don't like about this space. What Brian's saying here is very true, which is you don't have to be a dick. But you see how Brian just said, we need some like level-headed, decent guys. I see things like that and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I need to stay in this space because it needs me. Like, it needs me. Can't leave this scene alone. The game needs me.
Camera, they're probably very different. Because most women wouldn't stand for this shit.
Do you have like a rotation of other women?
I wouldn't say a rotation like right now. I do want to get multiple wives, but...
You know when I say like to be yourself? You really gotta be yourself. If you watch my content, you will notice that while I will speak about red pill principles, and I do, right? Like women wanting a strong man, the man leads, all that kind of stuff. You'll notice that I don't attack women or make them the enemy. You'll also notice that I don't speak down to them, that I have them on shows and podcasts and I have proper conversations with them. You got to be yourself. I do that stuff knowing that there's going to be some hardcore red pill guys. I'll see me like, well, that's not too masculine, is it? Because he's not claiming that his woman is basically a receptacle for his semen and nothing else. Oh my God, he's treating this woman with respect. How much of a G is he? But it's like, be yourself. Because you see, when you be yourself, you don't get caught out like our friend Myron is about to.
Should we meet Angie?
Yeah, she's...
Angie, can we say hi?
Hi.
Yeah, we'll keep it short, though, for her.
Hi.
What? This poor girl, like, he's like, yeah, well, you can talk to Ange, but I don't want you to talk to her for very long. Why not? What are you afraid of?
What attracted you to Myron?
I say to my friends and like to people that always question our relationship that Myron is somebody in front of the cameras, but behind them is somebody else with me.
Bingo! She's literally rumbling him on the documentary saying all of this shit he says on camera, that's not how he is off camera. Immediately.
You got to be yourself. All right? Just be yourself. If Myron isn't really this ultra masculine alpha with this woman, then don't make out that you are. Because now he just looks like a fool. And also, there's nothing wrong with treating her with respect as well. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But, you know, he's like being one person behind the scenes and then another person in front of the camera.
And I will love him as long as we're together.
Here, come here, baby.
Yeah.
5 stars. Five stars on Yelp.
Yeah, 5 stars on Yelp. Yeah.
Yeah.
The most awkward hug I've ever seen in my life. Come here. It's giving, I really didn't have a lot of love in my upbringing. I don't know what the fuck happened with Myron. And I'm not even trying to be a prick here, but like it screams it. Because this girl loves him. And she seems like a sweet girl. What more does a man need? Realistically, you don't need to be fucking all these other girls. She's a great lass. It's this emotional connection that he just seems incapable of having with her.
But no, I'm happy to have her by my side. She's been great, really helpful.
He's talking about her like she's not even in the fucking room. Like there's no eye contact. It's just weird, man.
Over 80% of the men in this space are angry at women. And it shows. And don't get me wrong, would they have valid reasons for being angry? Yes. Would some of them have had terrible mothers? Yes. Would some of them have been like anally penetrated by women, metaphorically speaking, in the past? Yes. But the point is they're angry and you can see the anger. And where I'm going with this is like, it bleeds into everything and you feel that bitterness and that resentment, and it's very unattractive. And Myron has a difficulty to connect with this woman who really seems to love him, but he can't connect with her properly. There's an emotional wall. And why does he have that emotional wall? And like, the Manosphere is led by men who have this emotional wall. And it's like, that emotional wall isn't strength, it's frigging wall. It's strong is to actually open yourself up, knowing that you can handle whatever might happen if you expose yourself. That is strong.
Where you would have more than one wife, right?
She understands that. She knows that could potentially come down in the future.
What do you say about that?
I don't know. I mean, he has said that in the past. I think I'll see when it happens. Like, I don't know how that will work.
This whole idea that she's completely on board with his bullshit is being exposed immediately. This documentary has been going 2 fucking minutes, and she's already said, not really, like. And yet he's preaching to all these young lads that you gotta have your missus fucking told. And the minute Louis Theroux just cuts through the shit, she's completely contradicting him.
Right now, it's not going to be anytime soon because I'm just so focused on working.
It isn't going to happen then, is it? You're just saying it to sound cool, but when your missus is stressing about it, you're immediately backing down going, well, it's not going to happen anytime soon though. Why? Because you're soothing her, because her displeasure is automatically making you want to calm the situation down. I thought you were dominant. I thought you were in charge, in control, bro. Because that's not what I'm saying here, boss. Looking like you're worried while he's holding the most feminine dog ever created. This really is a picture right now.
That's a bridge we'll cross when we get there. Like right now.
What does that mean? That's so avoidant.
It's something you never know, man. You can always change your mind down the road. Who knows? Maybe I'll say, I only just want to be with one girl.
Whoa! He's doing a 180 already.
Watch my content. Look at every woman I'm in a video with. You will see that I treat them with respect. The way I treat these women is the way I treat these women. And you will not find me advocating to treat women in any way other than the way I treat them. But I get why Myron does it though, because Myron's operating in a space where that's what he needs to say to get the respect. Because I would be lying if I haven't felt like the pull to, present myself as Mr. Ultra Masculine Alpha. I've had people say things about me looking like, I don't know, a simp. I've been called a simp once or twice. Why? Because I ain't presenting myself like this, but I'm not this. I ain't going to pretend that I am. Just be yourself.
Fuck.
I believe that the world really took a swing in the wrong direction when it comes to it being acceptable for a man to have a masculine energy about him, to be strong. It got called toxic. When you mix that with feminism, and we've asked women to become men, men invent, build, and maintain society.
There's some truth in what he's saying here. It was seen as a negative, toxic thing to have masculine energy. And there is a right to have a response to that. But unfortunately, it's like an equal and opposite reaction. Like the crazy feminists have now got these guys, or some of these guys even, to have as the like opposite of that. And masculine energy is actually, it's effortless. It's not, oh, I'm so macho, hey, look at me. It's actually, when you look at legit bad motherfuckers, right? Men who could kill anyone they fucking wanted, for example, right? Those guys, MMA fucking world champions, for example. Their energy is low key, it's chill, it's relaxed, it's not trying so hard because they don't have to prove anything to anyone. There's no insecurity, there's not a shred of insecurity there. They're not screaming, hey, look at me, aren't I an alpha male? They don't need to. And so much of this bravado and this boasting of this is how a man should act, it screams insecurity to me. Because knowing real men as I've been growing up, none of them went on like that because they didn't fucking need to. It was known in the surrounding environment around them of don't fuck with that guy.
The man who really believes in himself doesn't need to shout and scream and force you to believe in him, which is what my dad used to do. shout and scream and demand respect. But why does a man shout and scream and demand respect? Because he doesn't internally feel like he has it. That's the reason why you'll watch a lot of these videos about Myron and he's shouting at the camera. It's like, you know, take it easy, bro. Where is this actually coming from? Because like Brian has alluded to, what world do we live in now? We live in a world where being a man's a terrible thing. Like I was on Instagram and I saw this woman who she's like, I like men. And she's like, no. I'm not saying like I like dick, but I do. She's saying, I just like men. I like them. I've got male friends who I adore. I want to marry a man. There's nothing wrong with that. And then she says, I saw this article about a Irish singer. I think it was Sinead O'Connor she was talking about, who was 62 years old and lives on her own in a castle with cats. And the subtext behind that article was, wouldn't this be amazing? Wouldn't you like to do this too? And she's like, no, I don't. I like men. I want to settle down with a man. But what that woman was saying was true. There's a huge like mindset in society, which is men are bad, men are wrong, men are to be avoided, men are inherently broken. So, you know, when you have like this kind of cultural zeitgeist where being a man is bad and like men are forced to suppress the masculine sides of themselves, and like I said in past videos, that suppression causes them to like lose respect from the world and from women. You get situations like this. It's not arising in a vacuum. Why do we have a manosphere? Why does it exist? Why did Hitler come to power in the 1930s? Was it, or the 20s? No, I think it was the 30s. Why? Why did it occur? Like, was it good? Nah. But why did it occur?
You sound a bit like Bonnie Blue.
In what way?
You're saying it doesn't really matter what choices I make because I'm making money and my kids will enjoy a high standard of living. So
Not
my
at all.
choices are irrelevant.
What, me posting a picture with a few girls is the same as getting shagged by 1,000 guys.
It's rationalising.
Don't compare me to Bonnie.
It's rationalising. Are you getting triggered?
I actually really like this line of questioning that Louis is going down, and I'm not even saying he's right in what he's saying, but I like that he's challenging HS here to justify the decisions he makes, and why are you making these decisions? I think this is good.
Why not try and be a good person?
In what respect? What do you mean?
Just uplift people. Don't pander to their worst impulses. Actually encourage them to make the right choices.
It's a good question. If I'd just done good things, I would never have really blown up on social media in the first place. If I was just thinking, right, I don't want to upset anyone, I don't want to do anything.
In this literal episode, Brian was saying, I want a whiskey sponsor. If a whiskey would like to sponsor me, you can sponsor the True Geordie podcast. For the love of God, I want a whiskey sponsor. Whiskey is alcohol. Alcohol not only kills people, but it ruins lives as well. It is a drug. In fact, they have done studies where they're showing that in terms of like how bad drugs are and like the damage that they do either to the person who takes them or to the world at large, alcohol's at the top. Alcohol is more dangerous to you and to society than cocaine or heroin or ecstasy or whatever. However, nobody looks at it like that. Nobody cares. So Brian, right, who is literally drinking whiskey in this episode, he can happily promote a drug that destroys lives and feel completely okay with himself. OnlyFans, is it great? No, it ain't. It's not. It ain't great at all. But it ain't as bad as alcohol. And even if it was, let's say it was exactly the same thing. It's like, it is possible for something to not be good, but at the same time, it's like, just learn to manage it. So alcohol ain't the best thing in the world, but everybody knows, like, you watch how much you drink. You don't get wasted. You know, you know your limits. He doesn't agree with it, but he fundamentally doesn't care what other people do. I don't find it to be this huge hypocritical thing.
Lane is changing diapers, cooking and cleaning, and his lane is working and providing. I've
got no problem with that, by the way. I'm old school as fuck. That's fine by me.
If I take a girl on a date, one of the questions, if it doesn't happen on the first one, it will happen on the second one. So I heard you have a wife. Yeah, what about it? She's hot, and then boom, I'll show her a picture of Kristen immediately and go straight for the threesome. I don't give, like, I'm not about to placate to some girl.
Slightly aggressive.
It was so aggressive, like, because everything in him is like, being a man is being aggressive. You don't have to do that, though. And that's what I'm talking about, that relaxed masculinity. Like, men who grow up with real fucking role models. Like, I remember when I was young, this is side note, but let me just tell you the story. I went on holiday with my mother and her partner, who'd been with her for many, many years, right? Basically my stepdad. And there was a table full of kids, like Spanish teenage boys. And they threw a chip over towards my mother. I don't know what the fuck, I was a kid. But I just remember like, oh shit, like what the fuck is going to happen here? What is he going to do? Because I was really little. And my stepdad had this like Tony Soprano energy, big man, but also not like try hard about it. And he just went over to this table full of Spanish kids and he looked at the kid who threw the chip and he was stone faced, right? No anger, no raising of the voice, nothing. And he just put his hand out to shake the kid's hand and looked them dead in the eye. And the kid fucking shit himself. He fucking shit himself. I could see it. I was like 8 years old, whatever. I was like, you're pissing your pants right now. And the kid was like, you imagine Tony Soprano type shit. And he just said, and he walked away from the table. There was no bravado. There was no loud, noises. He didn't need to say anything. Do you know why? Because he was a real alpha motherfucking male. There was no energy needed. You know what I can do. I know what I can do. I don't need to be aggressive. And that is something that is completely lost on a lot of these boys who are trying to be men. They don't understand it. But when you're the biggest, baddest motherfucker in the room, you don't need to shout. You don't need to pretend like, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. I just hope some of these young teenage lads find this video and understand that's not what being a man is. You don't have to be all that. And ironically,
something that's quite interesting is if we look at Mr. Justin Waller, so he said that his mum used to beat up his dad a lot. I think he was talking about his dad. And, burnt the house down. So he didn't really grow up with a strong man, a strong male role model. So then his idea of masculinity was to be the exact opposite of what he saw his dad doing, which I'm guessing was to be dominant as all hell, to have the level of power and dominance that his dad lacked. And there's probably some anger at his mum. So he needs to dominate women. He's like, I ain't gonna placate some girl. I ain't doing it. I ain't gonna placate some girl. Why? Because he had to placate his mum when he was a kid. You know what I mean? So when he's like, I ain't gonna placate some girl, I don't give a fuck, he's really speaking to his mother, which is interesting.
It's the ones who aren't fucking screaming their mouths off, they're the ones you gotta be worried about.
Why did you not get married in the eyes of the state? You think the financial side?
Yeah.
That seems more risky for you, maybe.
It does seem more risky for me, but I don't feel like I'm at risk.
But Louis, let's say it ended right now. Let's say it ended tomorrow, me and you.
Oh.
I would still look at it as successful. It's some of the best years of my life. I have beautiful children, beautiful memories. Mm-hmm. I'll see comments sometimes, a bit like, yeah, he thinks money is everything, but he'll never understand what it's like to have true happiness in a family and have a woman truly love him for something more than his money. Bullshit, asshole. I have it all, truly have it all.
If she's your love of your life and you're her love of her life, why would you not want to get married unless you wanted to hold that power over her and not worry about the fact that if everything ends, she then gets some of your money. She's in a position of weakness and you're in a position of strength, which is not a 50-50 relationship where you've completely invested in each other wholeheartedly. You want to keep that power over her because you don't know for sure, do you? Because if you did know for sure, you would have bet on her and you wouldn't be fucking all these other women, mate. It's all well and good saying, I have everything, I've got the woman, but you're not willing to test that theory. And actually, all these lads saying what a real man is, well, you know what? Being married and having a commitment and actually having to keep your dick in your pants and focus on one woman, as much as it's fucking fun when you're young and do what you want to do, right? These young lads, HS, TikTok, you do what you want. But eventually, nothing will make you feel more like a real man when you have a missus, kids, that family unit, and that they are what you dedicate your whole fucking life to. And that is your whole focus, your whole reason, your whole purpose for being on this planet. Nothing will come close to that, especially not shagging random women. And believe me, I've tried this theory out, and I know what I'm fucking talking about. And this is why young teenagers listening to this shit, they're not living in the real world, man. This is some fucked up idea of what a relationship is. This isn't a relationship.
There's been times in the past when I've wanted to be out fucking left, right and centre, of course. When I say times, I mean multiple years. But as I get older, I don't want that anymore. But do I necessarily believe that that is right and due and correct? Not necessarily. Not necessarily at all. But do I agree, yeah, that the idea of what it means to be a man is to like look after those close to you, that is the focal point of masculinity? Yeah. But to be fair to Mr. Justin Waller, that's what he's doing. He's saying that he loves the hell out of this woman, that they've had the best years of his life. They've got 2 children. He seems really connected with her. But he likes to do stuff on the side. And she's aware of it. It is what it is. Anyway, I think this is a good place to end the video. Young men need help. Because young men don't get any help. And if we're not going to give the young men the help that we need, we as in society, then areas like the Manosphere will pop up. Technically, you know what, I guess I am part of the Manosphere, because it's like, even though I package things in a more, I don't know, understanding or empathetic manner, I'm still saying stuff that a majority of people would be triggered by. But what am I trying to say? We're basically like just doing the best that we can. That Justin Waller guy is doing the best that he can, given the trauma that he went through. Same with Mr. Myron Gaines. That emotional block that he has, this inability to connect with a woman who ended up leaving him, by the way, for like a delivery guy or something like that. Doing the best that he can. Everyone's doing the best that we can. And the way I look at it is, yeah, like Brown said, the Manosphere is a reaction to the feminism and the mindset of men being evil. But it's like a pendulum that swings, right? And then, no, the pendulum goes like this. And then at some point, it will just kind of reach in the middle and we'll be at some kind of homeostasis, but we're not there yet. Anyway, if you're appreciating this, if you like this, if you want to see more from me, more from Wa, subscribe. Slam the notification bell. Let me know your opinion in the comments, because I want to hear from you. And I appreciate you. I thank you for your time. Ciao. Goodbye. See you later.